believe at that event. He came out tonight. He was sick, very sick. He was in the hospital for about a week. He came out tonight and said, I was wrong not to wear a mask.
Well, I mean, he has to say that. I think it's great. He's a friend of mine. He's a good guy. And wrong or not wrong, you have to understand, as president, I can't be locked in a room someplace for the next year and just stay and do nothing. And every time I go into a crowd, I was with the parents of our fallen heroes. These people are the most incredible people. And they came up to me, and they would hug me, and they would touch me. And I'm not going to not let them do it.
Now, there was an event with the Gold Star family the day after the Supreme Court event.
Gold Star event with the most incredible people you've ever seen. And I could have chosen not to talk to him or to keep everybody away. And you know what? And I don't think that's probably where it was called, but maybe.
Well, I was going to say, you bring it up. You brought it up yourself. I mean, are you trying to suggest that? Do you believe a grieving military family gave you COVID?
No, I don't know where it came from.
Okay.
And you don't know where it came from, and the doctors don't know where it came from. But as the president, I have to be out there. I also know.
There's no one that says you can't be out there, but it's just about wearing masks and having, for example, your rallies. Your rallies don't require masks.
No, I mean, let's see Kamala. She's got people now. People have it, and I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying, oh, she did a terrible thing. As president, I have to be out there. I can't be in a basement. I can't be locked in a very beautiful room someplace in the White House. And I want to see the Gold Star families, and I want to see everybody. And I also say to people all the time, it's risky doing it. It is risky doing it.
But as a president, you're right. You want to be a leader. But you also are a leader and a setter of an example. And if you're not wearing a mask when your administration is saying best practice right now is wear a mask, no, it's not foolproof. But that will
Many people are getting this disease that was sent to us by China, and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. But many people are getting this, and I mean, nobody's being blamed. Everybody is working hard to get this thing out of our country, get it out of the world. Look at what's going on in Europe. Massive spikes. They've done a very good job. But now you take a look today at the UK, you take a look at Spain and France and Italy. There's tremendous spikes.
But our death rate is worse than, well, not Spain, but those other countries.
I have things right here that will tell you exactly the opposite.
Me too.
So the UK is up 2,500%, because I knew you'd be doing this. I know you very well. The UK is up 2,500%. The EU is up 722%, and the United States is down 21%.
But we have, our deaths per capita is among the highest among industrialists.
Excess mortality, we're a winner on the excess mortality. And what we've done has been amazing, and we have done an amazing job. And it's rounding the corner, and we have the vaccines coming, and we have the therapies coming. And I'll tell you what, one thing, when I got it, I had a choice, do nothing or use some of the things that we're looking at, like in this case Regeneron, and Eli Lilly makes something that's supposed to be incredible. And I think that maybe I wouldn't be doing this discussion with you right now. We have therapies now, and cures, maybe you can use the word cure, but we have therapies that are absolutely incredible.
I want to pick up on something you just said. You said we're rounding the corner.
I believe we're rounding the corner.
Now, 10% of the country approximately has had COVID. That means 80, 90%, 90%, let's do the math, is still vulnerable.
Right.
There's been some talk, including from the White House lately, that perhaps it approves of what's called herd immunity. That's where you basically just let young people and everybody get sick. You try to protect the old people and those who are sick, and hopefully it gets up to a certain level, and now we're all immune. So let's just be clear about it. It also means more deaths. Do you support herd immunity as a strategy? Essentially just let people get sick.
The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. We did the right thing. We were expected to lose 2,200,000 people, and maybe more than that. We're at 210,000 people. One person is too much. It should have never happened because of China. It happened because of China. And you have to get that and understand that. But it shouldn't have happened. But we were expected to lose. If you look at the original charts from original doctors who are respected by everybody, 2,200,000
That 2 million
people.
figure, though, is if you literally did nothing. The 2 million figure is if you did absolutely nothing, it would be 2 million. The question is, should the deaths be better than 200,000 when relative to the rest of the world we have a worse death rate?
I left North Carolina, which I love. I left Pennsylvania. we won a big case in Michigan because that governor has a lockdown where nobody but her husband can do anything. He can go boating and do whatever he wants, but nobody else can. The fact is we're winning all these cases because it's unconstitutional what they're doing. And I think they're doing it for political reasons. But the fact is the cure, you can't let this continue to go on with the lockdowns.
Well, most
and I
of the
believe that on
states-
November 4th, you're going to have a lot of these governors. Look at what's happening to New York. New York is a mess. They lost almost 40,000 people. They have a lockdown like you've never seen. Now they're open fucking ghost town.
Let's get to him.
And Savannah, it's very important. People are leaving New York by the thousands. And you're going to have a hard time ever building it up again. So that cure, that so-called cure that you talk about, it can't be worse than the problem. The problem is a bad problem.
We've got more questions on COVID, so let's drop it for now. We were supposed to, as mentioned, be watching you on a debate stage right now. We're not doing that, so let's clear up a few things from the last one. You were asked point blank to denounce white supremacy. In the moment, you didn't. You asked some follow-up questions. Who specifically? A couple of days later, on a different show, you denounced white supremacy. My question to you is, why does it seem like...
I denounce white supremacy, okay?
You did 2 days later.
White supremacy for years. But you always do. You always start off with a question. You didn't ask Joe Biden whether or not he denounces Antifa. I watched him on the same basic show with Lester Holt, and he was asking questions like Biden was a child.
Well, so this is a little bit of a dodge.
Are you listening? I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
What's your next question?
Do you feel, it feels sometimes you're hesitant to do so, like you wait
every time. In fact, when people came, I'm sure they'll ask you the white supremacy question. I denounce white supremacy.
Okay.
And frankly, you want to know something? I denounce Antifa, and I denounce these people on the left that are burning down our cities that are run by Democrats who don't
All right,
know
while
what
we're
they're doing.
denouncing, let me ask you about QAnon. It is this theory that Democrats are a satanic pedophile ring and that you are the savior of that. Now, can you just once and for all state that that is completely not true and that disavow QAnon in its entirety?
I know nothing about QAnon.
I just told you.
You told me, but what you told me doesn't necessarily make it fact. I hate to say that. I know nothing about it. I do know they are very much against pedophilia. They fight it very hard, but I know nothing about it.
They believe it is a satanic cult run by the deep
Study the
state.
subject. I'll tell you what I do know about. I know about Antifa, and I know about the radical left, and I know how violent they are and how vicious they are, and I know how they are burning down cities run by Democrats. Now,
Republican Senator Ben Sass said, quote, QAnon is nuts, and real leaders call conspiracy theories conspiracy theories. Why not just say it's crazy and not true?
He may be right. I just don't know about
người đó lên án là
You
QAnon
do
là
know.
tổ chức có nhiều cái
I don't know.
conspiracy.
Let me ask you another thing.
Let's waste the whole show. You start off with white supremacy, I denounce it. You start off with something else. Let's go. Keep asking me these questions.
I do have one more on this.
Tại sao mà cô cứ hỏi tôi những cái câu gọi là về gia trách bình đẳng tôi đã lên án rồi.
And I agree with that. I mean, I do agree with that, and I agree
But
with
there's
it.
not a satanic pedophile cult they
no
run
idea.
by.
I know
You
nothing
don't know
about
that? Okay.
No, I don't know
You
that.
just this
neither
week.
do you know that.
Okay, just this week
Why
you
are
retweeted.
you asking me about Antifa?
Tại sao cô không hỏi tôi về Antifa?
Why are you asking Joe Biden
Tại
questions
sao không hỏi?
Why doesn't he
Tại
condemn
không hỏi
Antifa?
không hỏi ông Biden để mà lên án Antifa?
No, it's so cute. Antifa exists.
Antifa là có thật.
They're violent, they kill people,
Họ rất là
and
bạo
they're
động,
burning down
họ
our
giết
cities.
người,
And they
đốt
happen
nhà.
to be radical left.
Just this week, you retweeted
rất là
to
cực
your
đoan.
87 million followers a conspiracy theory that Joe Biden orchestrated to have SEAL Team 6, the Navy SEAL Team 6, killed to cover up the fake death of bin Laden. Now, why would you send a lie like that to your followers? You retweeted
That was
it.
a retweet. That was an opinion of somebody, and that was a retweet.
Về cái việc mà ông Joe Biden và ông Obama đã làm lộ cái đội 6 người đó, Team 6 đã giết Bin Laden là làm hại cho họ, thì ông đã retweet lại cái ý kiến của ông ra làm sao?
Media is so fake and so corrupt. if I didn't have social media, I don't call it Twitter, I call it social media, I wouldn't be able to get the word out.
Thực ra thì những cái vấn đề mà tôi thuyết ra tại vì các cơ quan truyền thông quá là lũng đoạn rồi. Nếu mà tôi không có thuyết thì tôi không có cái thông điệp tôi đưa ra được.
That's what's happening, and everybody knows it.
Okay, we got a bunch of questions for you.
We're winning in a lot of states. We're winning in a lot of states.
Chúng tôi đang thắng rất là nhiều giờ
I'm glad you brought up the election because I do want to ask about that. That's another kind of leftover item. A lot of people have asked you, will you accept a peaceful transfer of power?
Nhiều người hỏi, bây giờ tôi hỏi lại là ông có chịu chuyển giao quyền lực của ông Hòa nếu thua hay không?
That is simply not true. The fact is either candidate can lose fair and square without ballot fraud. So will you accept the results of the election?
Ông có chịu chấp nhận thua hay không? Khi mà tôi thấy rất là nhiều những cái lá phiếu bị vứt đi, hàng nhiều cái lá phiếu bị vứt vào trong thùng rác, nhiều cái lá phiếu của quân đội bầu cho ông Trump mà lại bị vứt đi.
One by one, a single case, a single day. You're talking about 150 million votes. Your own FBI director says there is no evidence of widespread fraud.
Well, then he's not doing a very good job. All you have to do is pick up the papers every day. 50,000 in Ohio, the great state of Ohio. 50,000 in another location.
Rất là nhiều con số đã xảy ra hiện nay. Bà chỉ đọc báo là có thấy thôi.
No, there's a tremendous problem.
Đây là có vấn đề lớn.
They talk about the peaceful transfer, right?
Họ muốn nói về cái vấn đề chuyển giao quyền lực Cộng hòa phải không?
And they spied heavily on my campaign, and they tried to take down a duly elected sitting president. And then they talk about, will you accept a peaceful transfer? And the answer is yes, I will. But I want it to be an honest election.
Về cái vấn đề mà chuyển giao quyền lực Cộng hòa, yes, tôi đồng ý. Nhưng mà tôi phải nhìn thấy một cái cuộc bầu cử công bằng. I'm not happy about it.
Khi
mà có những cái lá phiếu mà có tên tôi được bầu đó, họ vứt đi là tôi không có hoàn toàn hài lòng về chuyện đó.
And you were sowing doubt about our democracy.
How can you say that? You do read newspapers, you do watch the news.
Tại sao mà cô dám hỏi như vậy? Có đọc báo hay không?
Because every day they're talking about ballots that are corrupt, that are fraudulent.
And millions that are being processed right now.
But you can win a race. Take a look at me. You can win a race by 1%.
But why are you laying the groundwork for that right now? It's like if I go play tennis with my husband and I say my ankle's hurting right now.
I don't want that to happen, Savannah. I want it to be clean. I really feel we're going to win. But I want this to be clean.
Let's get
tôi muốn một cái bầu cử sạch sẽ. Tôi nghĩ rằng tôi sẽ thắng.
The peaceful transfer. When I spent 3.5 years fighting off these maniacs, and now it turns out everything's
nói về cái vấn đề chuyển giao quyền lực ông Hòa hả? 3 năm mấy tôi phải đấu với lại những cái mà cái sự phá hoại của họ. Nếu mà muốn chuyển giao quyền lực hả? Tôi rất là muốn như vậy. Nhưng mà phải là bầu cử công bằng.
Let's get to our first voter. We've got Jacqueline Lugo. Now she is. I told you this audience is truly split between y'all. You are leaning Biden. She voted for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as an independent.
Cô này là một người independent và đã từng bầu cho ông Clinton. Giờ đặt câu hỏi.
Good evening.
Chào.
Welcome to Miami.
Thank you very much. It's beautiful.
Mr. President, if you knew COVID-19, as you told Bob Woodward in February,
as what?
As you told Bob Woodward in February, was airborne and deadlier than the flu, why did you only put in place a travel ban from China and not put in place other measures mitigating the spread of COVID-19?
Nếu mà ông đã biết rằng là ông đã biết rằng là cái Covid nó nguy hiểm và nó truyền qua không khí, tại sao ông chỉ mới có cấm cái chuyện mà du lịch từ Trung Quốc qua mà không làm những cái vấn đề khác quan trọng hơn nữa để bảo vệ người Hoa Kỳ?
Because I saw there was a lot of infection in Europe, and it's sort of an amazing question. And I appreciate the question and respect the question, but the news doesn't get out the right answer because I put on a travel ban far earlier than Dr. Fauci thought it was necessary.
Tôi đã đưa ra cái luật cấm du lịch còn sớm hơn rất nhiều so với là ông bác sĩ Fauci đề nghị. Tôi làm như vậy là đã ngược lại với rất là nhiều lời khuyên của nhiều người rồi, trong đó có cả bà Pelosi.
When I put on the travel ban, Joe Biden
Khi mà tôi đưa ra cái lệnh cấm du lịch như vậy đó thì ông Joe Biden phản đối nữa. Và như vậy mà đã cứu được rất là nhiều ngàn người đấy.
Can I ask you, did your national security advisor on January 28th in the Oval Office warn you that this would be the greatest national security risk of your administration?
Cái người cố vấn của ông có phải là báo động với ông ngay từ đầu là từ hồi tháng Giêng là cái chuyện này là sẽ rất nguy hiểm hay không? Tôi biết rằng cái chuyện này là cái vấn đề quan trọng. Nhưng mà chúng tôi không thể đi ra ngoài nói là mọi người sẽ chết, mọi người sẽ chết. Chúng ta phải an toàn, chúng ta phải cảnh giác, nhưng mà chúng ta phải.
Mom Barbara voted for you in 2016. She's leaning to vote for you again. Now her daughter was too young to vote last time. She's going to vote for her first time in a prepresidential campaign, and she is leaning Biden. So imagine the dinner table at their house, okay?
Cô đây là người mẹ, đã bầu cho ông, còn người con thì bầu cho ông Biden.
Mr. Trump, as a frontline ER doctor working through the coronavirus pandemic, I know firsthand and I've seen that many hospitals throughout the United States are suffering financial hardships. These economic effects are trickling down to the frontline workers. We are being, across the country, frontline workers are being fired, they're being furloughed, our salaries are being cut. And this is also happening in other economic sectors as well, including the travel industry and hospitality. My question to you is, how are you going to get the United States back on track, both in terms of the economy and the pandemic?
Như vậy thì ông làm như thế nào để mà đưa cho kinh tế trở lại?
11.4 million jobs.
Chúng ta đã đưa trở lại 11 triệu công việc.
Which will be announced on November 1st, just prior to the big November 3rd day, where I think you're going to see a red wave. But we're going to have a tremendous announcement. I believe. I mean, we're going to find out. But GDP is going through the roof. Jobs, real estate, houses, so many things are happening. So people are saying we're going to have a 42% unemployment. Look, this was a thing that came into our country, and it happened more than 100 years ago, and it happened now. They were talking about a 42% unemployment rate.
Who was talking about that?
7.8% unemployment, and people can't even believe it. Our economy is going to be next year, if we don't have somebody that raises taxes and quadruples taxes, which kills everything, our economy is going to be phenomenal next year. We're going to have a phenomenal. And I'll tell you, Savannah, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country last year, including the state of Florida, where we are now, in Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Ohio, every place. We had the greatest economy we ever had. We had to close it down. We saved 2 million lives. We're opening it up. We have a V-shape, and it's coming back. It's coming back very fast. But one other thing, we really help the hospitals. We've sent billions and billions of dollars to the hospitals. In addition, hundreds of millions of masks and gowns. And we went into the ventilator business because this country was not equipped with ventilators. And I'm not blaming anybody for it. But we're now making thousands of ventilators a month. And we have all we can use. We're sending them all over the world because the world needs them. So they've worked very hard and really very, very effectively. Thank you. Great question.
Let's talk to Isabella. Put the mic close to your mouth. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. President, my parents are, as you heard, both frontline healthcare workers, and I've seen the physical and the mental tolls that this pandemic has taken on them firsthand, as well as the exacerbation of coronavirus due to Americans who are not wearing masks or participating in social distancing. After contracting COVID-19 yourself, has your opinion changed on the importance of mask wearing?
Ông đã từng không khuyến khích mọi người đeo khẩu trang đi vòng vòng, nhưng mà sau khi bị dương tính rồi đó, ông có đổi ý kiến cho mọi người về cái vấn đề đó không?
I had, being president, you have people, they bring meals, they bring this, and I had an instance recently where a very wonderful person is bringing me a meal, and he's playing with his mask, and he's touching his mask all over the place, and then he's bringing a plate in, and I'm saying, well, I don't know if that's so good. I mean, the good news, I didn't eat it. Okay, I decided not to eat it. This was a month ago, but look, you have two stories. You have a story where they want, a story where they don't want. I am all for it.
I don't get that, because all of your public health officials, your administration, they're in unison about this. They're all in unison about it. The University of Washington, which is they have a model that your coronavirus task force relies on, says that if everyone wore a mask, you could cut expected deaths in half.
Ta đã nói là nếu mà ai mà cũng đeo khẩu trang á, thì là sẽ cắt thêm đi một nửa cái sự lây nhiễm.
Dr. Scott, he's from great guy, Stanford. He will tell you
he's not an infectious disease expert.
Nhưng mà ông bác sĩ Scott nói khác.
He's one of the great experts.
Nhưng mà bác sĩ đó không phải là bác sĩ
you
chuyên
have
nhiệm.
so much power and influence as president. You could go to you could require it at your rallies, and you could say, everyone put on a mask right now, and the University
of
Washington says
ông có rất là nhiều quyền lực, tại sao ông không mỗi lần đi ra ông không kêu gọi mọi người đeo khẩu trang?
Hey, Dr. Fauci said don't wear a mask, right?
At first, but then everybody agreed.
No, I don't know that he changed his mind.
Ông ấy cái cả ông bác sĩ Fauci ngay đầu nói đừng có đeo mask, rồi sau này nói
wearing masks.
I looked at that report. It's not about mask wearing. It was neutral on the question of masks.
We're on the same side. I say wear the mask. I'm fine with it. I have no problem. We're on the same side.
Let's take a break. We're going to get more questions right after this.
Cùng là một phía, tôi sẵn sàng. Không có vấn đề gì khi mà nói về đeo khẩu trang cả. Chúng ta có cái khoảng thời gian giải lao. Giờ đây là giờ đang giải lao. Một lần nữa là Tổng thống Trump đang có mặt ở Miami tham dự một cái buổi town hall meeting. Chúng ta có thể thấy các câu hỏi là không hề dễ tí nào, và ông cũng đang gọi là tấn công ngược lại một cách rất là mãnh liệt đối với lại những cái câu hỏi của cô phóng viên. Cách đây mới hôm ngày hôm qua khi mà ông tham dự một cái buổi nói chuyện thì ông cũng đã chỉ trích cái buổi gặp gỡ kiểu này khi mà NBC bữa trước tổ chức với lại ông Joe Biden, thì ông nói rằng là họ đã hỏi cho ông Joe Biden những câu rất là dễ dàng, như là hỏi trẻ con vậy đó. Nhưng mà hôm nay thì những câu hỏi không hề trẻ con tí nào. Hiện nay là đang là giờ giải lao.
With President Trump for a town hall. Thank you again, Mr. President. We have another voter now, Christy Alonso. Come on out,
Christy. Đây sẽ thêm một cái câu hỏi khác của một người khác.
Slightly towards you. She says she voted for you in 2016.
Cô này thì đã bầu cho ông Trump vào 2016.
Let's hear your question.
Thank you for your service, Mr. President.
Thank you very
Cảm ơn
much.
cho ông
We're
đã
a
phục vụ đất nước
hard-working,
được.
middle-class family of four. My husband and I are both self-employed, and we have
Tôi và
to get
chồng
our
tôi
own
đều là hai
individual
người
health
tự
care.
làm việc.
As you know, healthcare costs have gone up considerably
Ông cũng
over
biết
the
đó là
decades,
cái vấn đề bảo hiểm
you
y
had
tế rất
originally
là
said you
tốn
were going to
tiền.
repeal and replace Obamacare. What is your plan now in
Ông sẽ xóa đi
2020
cái
to
Obamacare,
make
thế thì
healthcare
ông
costs
cái
affordable for
sự thay thế
Americans like myself?
của ông
So we got rid of the
là
individual
cái chương trình như thế
mandate
nào
of
và
Obamacare,
làm
which
sao
was the
chúng tôi
worst
có
part
thể
of
đủ tiền để
Obamacare,
mua.
and now you could actually say it's not Obamacare because that's how big it was, where you had to pay a fortune for the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. So we got rid of that. That was a
Chúng ta đã
big thing.
loại trừ được cái
And by
Obamacare.
doing that, and we will always have, by the way, we're always protecting people with pre-existing conditions, and I can't say that more strongly. But we've been able to bring healthcare costs way down.
Chúng tôi đã có khả năng đã làm cho cái giá của y tế thấp xuống rất là nhiều.
Much better. Remember, they had the $5 billion website disaster and all of the problems.
Nhớ lần trước ông họ có cái website tốn 5 tỷ đô la mà vẫn còn bị sụp vì cái chuyện đó. Đây sẽ là một cái chương trình thấp giảm giá ít rẻ hơn rất là nhiều và cái chất lượng tốt hơn nhiều. Chúng tôi đem giảm giá xuống.
Mr. President, I got to follow up on the pre-existing conditions. This is such a big issue for
Tôi muốn
voters.
hỏi tiếp về cái vấn đề những người có bệnh
In point
nền
of
đó.
fact, your administration is about to go to the Supreme Court to argue to throw out the rest of Obamacare, which includes the protections for pre-existing conditions. So your administration is in court right now trying to get rid of that protection.
Cái chính phủ của ông thì đang đi thưa cái Obama ra tòa, mà trong đó có cái phần mà bảo đảm cho những người có bệnh nền thì sao?
And I mean, maybe I changed the party a lot over the last 3 years, but we will protect people with pre-existing conditions. And
Chúng tôi sẽ bảo vệ những người có bệnh nền.
Get rid of the terrible Obamacare. I've already done it to
Xóa
a
đi những
large
cái mà
extent
tệ hại
because, as
của
you know,
Obamacare.
the individual mandate is gone. That was the
Cái vấn
worst.
đề mà bắt buộc người ta phải mua, cá nhân phải mua là phải bỏ đi.
You had both houses of Congress, Senate and House, in Republican hands, and there is not a replacement yet.
That's right. I'm sorry, but if you look, we had both houses, and what did we do? We got rid of the individual mandate. That went through the legislature.
Khi mà chúng tôi có đầy đủ hết các quyền lực ở Hạ viện Thượng viện đó, chúng tôi đã loại được cái vấn đề gọi là mua bảo hiểm, bắt buộc phải mua bảo hiểm đó.
And we would like to replace it with something that's much less expensive and much better.
Và cái kế hoạch này sẽ làm cho rẻ hơn và chất lượng tốt hơn và bảo đảm cho cái người có bệnh nền.
If we don't succeed, we are running the remnants of whatever's left because we took it apart. We are running the remnants of whatever is left much better than the previous administration, which ran it very badly. But we'd like to have new health care, much better and much less expensive.
Nói chung là rẻ hơn và tốt hơn.
Number 5, and you'll like this. He's stuck in traffic. His name is Joe White. He is registered as a Democrat. He says he's leaning toward Biden, and Biden had voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016. And his question was, a second stimulus payment has been broadly agreed upon by the Republicans and Democrats, and yet now we're in October and it's still not passed. Why not use your office to make the second stimulus payment a separate, targeted emergency relief package to help Americans weather the pandemic?
We've actually passed 3 packages, and we're on our 4th. And I agree with him 100%. He should vote for me. The problem you have is Nancy Pelosi. She couldn't care less about the worker. She couldn't care less about our people. And we should have a stimulus. And I want a stimulus. The Republicans will approve a stimulus. The problem is she doesn't want to do it because she thinks it's bad for her election. The fact is she's wrong. Because people know she's in our way. She's not approving it. She doesn't appreciate our people, and she doesn't appreciate at all our workers. Nancy Pelosi, we are ready to sign and pass stimulus, but she's got to.
People do not love the back and forth of Washington, but this has been a roller coaster. Back in early October, you one day tweeted, "No more negotiations until after election day. I'm walking away." Then I think the next couple of days you said maybe we can do something targeted. Then you said I want a big bill, but then Senate Republicans said no, we're not for that. So you are the big deal maker. How come this is so? You yourself have changed positions.
Did you ever hear of a word called negotiation?
Có bao giờ nghe cái vấn đề và
People's lives are hanging in the balance.
And you know who I'm negotiating against? Nancy Pelosi, because she doesn't want to give the money. We should have stimulus. This was not our people's fault. This was China's fault. And she's penalizing our people. I'm ready to sign a beautiful stimulus. You saw the other day, I say, go big or go home, right?
That's
I want it to be big. I want it to be bold. I want the money to go to directly.
I said Republicans would do. They're going to go big. Their big old number.
They'll go. They're going to be very
happy. So far, they have not said they would.
Because I haven't asked them to, because I can't get through Nancy Pelosi.
Tại vì tôi không có qua được bà Nancy Pelosi, bà
through my representatives or directly, I don't care. If we agree to something, the Republicans will agree to it.
Okay. Our next question comes from, this is interesting. She voted for Clinton in 2016, but recently changed her registration from Democrat to independent. She says she's truly undecided. Her name's Becky Lightman. Hello, Becky. What's your question?
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Nice to see you. Thank you.
Good to see you. So, corporate tax rates are a hot button issue, and you have cut corporate tax rates, and your opponent Joe Biden is planning to raise them.
Right.
A lot of Americans think that corporations don't pay their share of taxes and want to see those tax rates increase. What do you say to those Americans to maybe tell them why you want the corporate tax rate lower and why that helps them?
That's a great question. We've created more jobs than this country has ever created. We were up to 160 million jobs. We were never even close to that number. We were just hitting 160 million jobs. Companies are pouring into our nation because of the tax rate. And if Biden comes in and raises taxes on everybody, including middle income taxes, which he wants to do, you will blow this thing and you'll end up with a depression, the likes of which you've never had. That's what's going to happen. We have something that's really good. The reason we're coming back so strong is because we built a very strong foundation. Companies are moving in. Car companies are moving into Michigan, into Ohio, into South Carolina and North Carolina just today. So what's happening is they're coming in because we reduced the taxes. Our taxes, our corporate taxes were the highest in the world, and now they're among the lower taxes. They're not the lowest, but they're among the lowest. And what that means is jobs. But also, we're doing a very big, and we've done a very big middle income tax package. So if we get in, we're going to do the middle income tax package. But it's a great question. And if he comes along and raises rates, all those companies that are coming in, they will leave the U.S. so fast.
Nếu mà tăng thuế quá thì họ sẽ bỏ khỏi nước Mỹ
On the
đi nhanh,
subject
rất là
of
nhanh.
taxes, as you know, the New York Times has obtained, it says years of your tax returns, among other things, it says that you have debts of approximately $421 million that you have personally guaranteed and that will come due in the next 4 years. The question is, on behalf of voters, who do you owe $421 million
first of all,
to?
let me answer. What they did is illegal, number one. Also, the numbers are all wrong. And just so you understand, when you have a lot of real estate, I have real estate, you know a lot of it, okay? Right down the road, Doral. Big stuff, great stuff. I'm very under, when I decided to run, I'm very under-levered, fortunately, but I'm very under-levered. I have a very, very small percentage of debt compared, in fact, some of it I did as favors to institutions that wanted to loan me money. $400 million compared to the assets that I have, all of these great properties all over the world, and frankly,
400 triệu so sánh với cái tài sản biết bao nhiêu của tôi trên toàn thế giới.
I don't love what's happening to San Francisco.
Well, do I hear you right? It sounds like you're saying $400 million isn't that much.
Office buildings.
But are you confirming that yes, you do owe some $400 million?
Ông có xác nhận là ông đang thiếu 400 triệu đô la không?
Of my net worth.
That sounds like yes.
And you'll see that soon because we're doing things, you know. We've given, I think it's 108 or 112 pages of financial detail to elections, and you know we have to file as the president, as any politician, you have to file. Nobody ever looks at that. When they do, they see how incredible the company is.
Cho cái ủy ban bầu cử, ai cũng phải làm như thế, mà đâu ai muốn nhìn vào đâu.
No, I don't owe Russia money. I don't know. I owe a very, very small. It's called mortgages. Yeah. People have a house. They put a mortgage.
Any foreign bank, any foreign entity.
Not that I know of, but I will probably, because it's so easy to solve. And if you'd like to do, I will let you know who I owe whatever small amount of money. I want to say two things. Number one, it's a very small amount of money. Number two, it's very straight. It's very, very straight. But it's a tiny percentage of the worth. Did you ever hear the expression under-levered?
Yeah.
I am extremely under-levered.
Well, here's the thing. You could clear this up tonight by just releasing your tax returns yourself. I mean, that's what I understand. I think people are just wondering,
it turned out that I am under-audited. They actually, excuse me. No, but you
the IRS says that doesn't stop you from releasing.
Accused me of not being under-audited previously, and so did other people at NBC. And I am under-audited. So that was solved. That's good. I am under-audited. No person in their right mind would release prior to working out the deal with the IRS. And I'll go a step further. I'm treated very badly by the IRS. They treat me very, very badly. You have people in there from previous administrations. They treat me very badly. But we're under-audit. It's very routine in many ways, but we're under audit. They like to change the game, change the rules, do everything. You saw what they did with the Tea Party people. You saw what they did with the religious group.
But to be clear, there is no law or rule that prohibits you from releasing your tax returns.
Except common sense and intelligence and having lawyers to say, because I would love to release them, and as soon as we come to a conclusion, I will release them, and very gladly. But if you go to elections, and if you take a look, you'll see 112, I think it's 112. It talks about the income, which is rather massive. It talks about all of the properties. They have them listed. You can never learn more. But you know what happened? People went there. All the reporters went. There was like a feeding frenzy. This was originally when I filed it. And I filed it every year. I update it every year. My son is here. They run the company. I don't run the company.
It also says that you paid $750 in taxes in the year you were elected. Is that true or not?
It's a statutory number. It's a statutory.
But is that true?
I think it's a filing number. You pay $750. It's a filing
number.
Most people here probably know.
I can tell you this. If they have more tax returns, as you know, they have to go to jail. It's illegal. But their numbers were wrong. Let me tell you what else. I don't owe money to any of these sinister people. This has been going on for years now. Russia. It turned out to be a house. And it turned out to be that Hillary Clinton and the Democrats were dealing with Russia, not me. It's a whole hoax. So I would not mind at all saying who it is, but it's a very small thing. When you look at vast properties like I have, and they're big and they're beautiful and they're well located, when you look at that, the amount of money, $400 million, is a peanut. It's extremely
All right, let's take a break. We'll get more voter questions right after this.
Và bây giờ chúng ta sẽ giải lao trong thời gian. Vừa rồi là những cái câu hỏi liên quan tới vấn đề kinh tế và chú trọng vào cái vấn đề hồ sơ thuế của ông ấy. Thì đại khái ông ấy nói rằng là cái con số mà cô đặt ra là 400 triệu có phải nợ hay không, thì ông nói đó có cái con số 400 triệu đó là nợ, nhưng mà là một con số nhỏ so với lại tài sản hiện nay có của ông ấy mà thôi. Rồi nói về cái con số nợ thuế, trả thuế cái 750, ông nói là con số đó là con số buồn cười, tại vì có thể là chỉ là con số làm hồ sơ, ghi hồ sơ thôi, nhưng mà có điều là ông nói là tôi không có dính dáng gì mà là nợ gì với gọi là những cái nước ngoài như là nước Nga vân vân, mà trong suốt nhiều năm trời mà họ cứ nói về cái vấn đề Nga cuối cùng là đó là chỉ là một cái sự bịa đặt mà thôi. Hiện nay thì bên chương trình của đài truyền hình ABC thì cũng có ông Joe Biden cũng tham gia một chương trình tương tự như thế này bởi đài truyền hình ABC. Khi mà đài ABC phát chương trình tối nay đó thì NBC đã có ngày cuối, 1-2 ngày cuối đã đề nghị với ông Trump cho cái buổi gặp gỡ hôm nay vào đúng giờ như thế này đó, là giống như là một cái sự cạnh tranh đối với lại đài ABC đó. Thì cũng bị một số người họ chỉ trích, nói rằng là làm như vậy thì người ta sẽ dân Mỹ sẽ không coi được cả hai ông trình bày, tại vì nó trùng, nếu mà coi người này thì không cho coi người kia được. Thì nhưng mà cuối cùng thì cái vấn đề cạnh tranh của các cơ quan truyền thông thì họ làm như vậy thôi. Nhưng mà có lẽ là cái cuộc nói chuyện của ông Trump sẽ thu hút nhiều người xem hơn là cuộc nói chuyện của ông Biden trên đài ABC. Để xem lát nữa đề tài tới, cô này có nói tới cái liên quan tới cái, chắc là cô sẽ có liên quan tới sự bổ nhiệm của sự đề cử của ông Trump đối với lại bà Amy Barrett là cho cái vai trò chánh án của tòa tối cao Hoa Kỳ, vốn là đang bị tranh cãi là tại sao không đợi qua cái lần bầu cử thì mới bầu, nhưng mà phía ông Trump nói rằng là tổng thống bầu lên là để làm việc 4 năm chứ đâu phải làm việc 3 năm rưỡi rồi bây giờ vẫn còn là trong nhiệm kỳ tổng thống, thì cái chuyện bổ nhiệm là cái chuyện bình thường theo hiến pháp. Và bà Barrett đã ra trả lời rất nhiều câu hỏi trong suốt 4 ngày qua của kể cả đảng Cộng hòa lẫn Dân chủ. Dĩ nhiên đảng Cộng hòa là những cái phía thuận, cho nên là hỏi những câu nhẹ nhàng hoặc là thậm chí là khen tặng rất là nhiều, trong khi đảng Dân chủ đặt ra những câu hỏi rất là hóc búa, và điểm đặc biệt là bà hoàn toàn không có cần ghi bất cứ một cái giấy tờ gì cả, mà chỉ là một cái tờ giấy trắng, cứ nói ra thôi.
With President Trump, thank you again for being here. We've got another voter, Adam Schuker. He voted for Clinton in 2016. He's registered as a Democrat and says he's supporting Biden. Adam, take it away.
Thank you, Savannah. Thank you, Mr. President. 4 years ago, Senate leadership said it was inappropriate to push through a nominee in an election year. Yet they fast-tracked your nominee for the Supreme Court just today. The question I have for you is, what do you say to the voter that thinks it's hypocritical to act in that manner and that they can't trust Republicans' word?
Ông nói sao khi mà hồi trước thì đảng Cộng hòa nói là đừng có bầu cái vị trí khi mà cuối nhiệm kỳ như vậy, còn bây giờ thì tới phần bà chánh án bây giờ thì họ nói là làm ngay đi, làm sao mà người dân có thể tin được.
It happened to come up, unfortunately, because I had great respect for Justice Ginsburg, but a vacancy happened to come up, and we picked somebody that's outstanding. She has been an absolute star,
4 năm như ông đã nói đó,
I'm extremely proud of it. But
và bây giờ nó có cái chỗ trống thì tôi
plenty of time. We're going to do it before the election. We also have much time after the election, but there's no reason to wait.
Không có lý do gì mà phải đợi cho qua sau cái
within the
cuộc
Republican
tranh cử cả.
Party, and frankly, most of the Democrats within closed rooms, I guarantee you that this is an outstanding person, and I'm using my fourth term. And you know, if you look at it, and if you put the shoe on the other foot, if they had this, they would do it 100%.
Nếu mà đổi ngược lại thì phía dân chủ họ cũng sẽ làm như vậy thôi, 100% thôi.
All 29 times a president has done exactly what I've done.
Tất cả mọi tổng thống trong vai trò của tôi cũng đều sẽ làm như vậy hết.
In 2016, you were on another show, actually another morning show, and you were asked whether President Obama should nominate a Supreme Court Justice Merrick Garland, and you said, I think the Senate should wait until the next president and let the president.
Và khi mà hỏi là có Obama có nên làm hay không thì ông nói là không nên mà.
This is 3 weeks before the election. So you have changed your position on this.
I have a lot of respect for Judge Garland. I want to tell you that. But I'll tell you, the whole ball game changed when I saw the way they treated Justice Kavanaugh. I have never seen any human being, and I'm not just talking about Supreme Court, I have never seen a human being treated so badly with false accusations and everything else. I have never seen anything like it. And you know what? The truth is, Savannah, like it or not, the ball game changed a lot.
Khi mà tôi đưa lên cái ông quan tòa kia đó thì họ đã tuyên thệ cho ông ấy một cách rất là tệ hại, nhưng bây giờ đây là cuộc chơi đã thay đổi.
You mentioned that you would like to see Amy Coney Barrett confirmed to the Supreme Court in case any challenges come up in connection with the election. Do you expect her to rule for you?
I think she'll have to make that decision. I don't think she has any conflict at all. You know, a Supreme Court judge does not have them. They can make their own decision. And they actually have additional power to make that decision. It would be totally up to her.
Cái đó hoàn toàn tùy thuộc vào bà ấy.
She would be able to rule either for me or against me. I don't see any
conflict. Bà ấy có quyết định là cho tôi, loại cho tôi hay là không loại cho tôi, cũng là cái chính trị là tùy là cái việc của bà ấy.
In the history of our country, if for any chance, and it probably won't, and I hope it doesn't ever get to the Supreme Court, but if it did, I would think that she would rule one way or the other. I would think so.
Nếu mà cái chuyện xảy ra là phải tranh cãi về cái vấn đề tổng thống đó thì
believe it or not,
cái chuyện đó là bà ấy
I
sẽ quyết
never
định
asked
thôi.
her about it. I never talked about it. I didn't talk about
Tôi chưa
any
bao giờ
of
nói chuyện với bà ấy
the
về cái vấn đề
things
đó.
that you could talk about, and I think a lot of people in my position might. But in speaking to a lot of very brilliant people and people that do this for a living, they say it's better not to talk. So I talked to her about life. I talked to her about the fact, would you like to do this? Are you willing to do this? Because it's a tremendous burden. The answer was yes. She's unbelievably well qualified, but I never spoke to her about these various questions.
Let's get our next voter. She's leaning to you, Mr. President. She voted for you in 2016. She is a registered Republican. Her name is Mariah Green.
Cô này thì đã từng bầu cho ông vào năm 2016. Cô này là người của Cộng hòa.
Good evening, Mr. President. I'm honored to be with you here tonight, sir. So thank you. I'm a pro-life millennial, and my question for you today is: if Roe v. Wade is ultimately overturned in the future, what protections would be put in place or kept for where the mother's life is in jeopardy in relation to high-risk pregnancies?
Well, again, I'm not ruling on this, and Roe v. Wade is something that a lot of people say, obviously you're going to speak to somebody.
Nếu mà trong trường hợp cần thiết thì để cứu người mẹ thì phải làm sao?
Justice Gorsuch and Justice Kavanaugh, I never spoke to them about Roe v. Wade. I never spoke to them about election laws. I never spoke to them about anything. And I've done the right thing from a moral standpoint. I don't even know from a legal standpoint, but it was the right thing. I think, depending on what happens with Roe v. Wade, I think that perhaps it could get sent down to the states.
Tôi nghĩ rằng là tùy theo cái việc nó xảy ra với luật phá thai, nhưng mà nó sẽ đưa về tiểu bang.
I think it would be inappropriate to talk to her about it. And some people would say you can talk to her about it. I just think it would be inappropriate.
Tôi chưa hề nói chuyện với bà tòa là vậy.
That's not something you should talk to the judge about. But would you like to see Roe versus Wade overturned?
I would like to see a brilliant jurist, a brilliant person who has done this in great depth and has actually skirted this issue for a long time, make a decision. And that's why I chose her. I think that she's going to make a great decision. I did not tell her what decision to make. And I think it would be inappropriate to say right now, because I don't want to do anything to influence her. I want her to get approved, and then I want her to go by the law, and I know she's going to make a great decision for our country.
You running as a pro-life Republican. Most pro-life Republicans would like to see Roe v. Wade overturned and abortion banned.
Many of them would.
Tất cả những người mà gọi là
Cộng hòa đều muốn. I don't want to do anything to influence anything right now. I don't want to go out tomorrow and say, oh, he's trying to give her a signal, because I didn't speak to her about it. I've done the right thing in so doing. How she's going to rule, you're going to find out perhaps, or you might not find out. I mean, it may never get there. It may never get there. We'll see what happens.
All right, we have another question. This is Cindy Velez. She is undecided. She says she's leaning to Biden, and she did vote for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as a Democrat.
Cô này thì là người Democrat của đảng Dân Chủ.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
As the mother of a young male of color, I have raised him to respect authority, not only because it's the right thing to do, but also out of fear that he may face profiling or be considered a criminal. As an educator, I've also had similar conversations with my high school students. Mr. President, what will you and your administration do to better prepare our law enforcement officers to work in collaboration with the communities that they serve, and also to protect the lives of innocent Black and Latinos from police brutality and injustice?
I fully understand the question, and I saw everything that you saw over the summer, and it was a terrible thing to watch. We were very strongly, we have a senator named Tim Scott from South Carolina. He came up with a bill that should have been approved. It was great. It was a bill that was strong in terms of law enforcement and strong in terms of enforcing the proper thing and doing the proper thing by law enforcement. And the Democrats just wouldn't go for it. They wouldn't go for it at all. And I don't know why, because it was a really great bill. But I do have to say this. And And some people don't like it when I say it, but a lot of people agree. I have done more for the African American
Tôi
community
muốn nói cho rõ rằng là tôi đã làm cho cái cộng đồng người da đen nhiều hơn bất cứ một ông tổng thống nào trước đây, trừ ông tổng thống Abraham Lincoln.
Historically black colleges and universities, I got them funded. They were
Một cái trường đại học của người da đen đó, tôi đã làm cho họ có một cái ngân sách vĩnh viễn mà không cần phải là xin từng năm.
Funding and financing, and more than I even asked for. I became very friendly with a lot of the
cho họ tiền còn nhiều hơn là họ muốn
We've done more, and of course, opportunity zones.
Và chúng tôi đã làm những cái vùng gọi là vùng cơ hội.
Everybody said it could not be done.
Nhiều người nói là sẽ không thể làm được. Ông Obama cũng đã từng thử làm, cố gắng làm. Nhưng mà tôi đã nói rồi, tôi làm. Và với những gì tôi làm, tôi có một quan hệ rất là tốt đối với lại cộng đồng người da đen.
Paulette Dale, she leans slightly to Biden. She voted for Clinton in 2016. She's registered as a Republican. Paulette, what's your question?
Thank you.
Cô này đã từng bầu cho bà Clinton, giờ đây thì cô ấy quay qua đội thành đảng Cộng hòa.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, he does. You're so handsome when you smile.
Ông thật là đẹp trai khi mà ông cười.
As the daughter of immigrants to the United States who fled Eastern Europe due to religious persecution.
Right.
The United States immigration policies are very personal for me.
Right.
Cái chính sách bà này đang nói về chính sách di dân.
Most Americans and the majority of Republicans support the Dreamers program. So, my question for you, Mr. President, is if you are elected to a second term, do you expect to pursue your previous efforts to cut the DACA program?
Yeah.
Why or why not?
Ông sẽ làm như thế nào về cái vấn đề DACA?
You understand that, and you understand it better than anybody probably in this room. Where do you come from, by the way, originally?
My grandparents were from Russia and Poland.
That's very good. Okay.
Ông nội bà nội tôi là từ Nga và Ba Lan. Chúng tôi sẽ lo lắng cho cái vấn đề DACA, vấn đề Dreamer.
Different aspects of immigration and immigration law. We've built now over 400 miles of border, southern border. Mexico is working very closely with us. We're the strongest border we've ever had. We want people to come into our country. They have to come in legally. But we are working very hard on the DACA program. And you will be, I think, very happy over the course of the next year. Because I feel the same way as you do about it.
Tôi rất là cảm thấy là rất là suy nghĩ giống như bà về cái vấn đề này.
No new applicants are allowed, and in fact, the DACA recipients now have to renew every year as opposed to every 2 years. So, in fact, the DACA program has been curtailed by your administration.
Well, what happened is because of the pandemic, much changed on the
Vì cái vấn đề đại dịch thì nó đã thay đổi một số chuyện.
Infected, as you know, and we've made it very, very difficult to come in because of the pandemic and other reasons and crime. But we have a very strong border right now, and we have to keep it that way.
Biên giới rất là mạnh. Chúng ta chào mừng những người từ nước ngoài vào, nhưng mà họ phải đi vào một cách có hệ thống, chứ không phải là đi vào một cách bất hợp pháp.
We have to be extra cautious.
You have been promising this immigration bill since, well, at least July when you told my colleague on Telemundo it was coming, but nothing's come yet.
It's very happy. The fact is we got rid of catch and release, which is a disaster. You know, you catch somebody, they could be a murderer, they could be a rapist, and we're supposed to release them into our country. These are the laws that I inherited. We ended that program. Now, I think you're going to see something very, very good. The whole immigration, if you look at what's going on, people used to pour into our country.
Trước đây là mọi người đã tràn vào đất nước ta một cách dễ dàng.
I think even you, Savannah, would be very impressed.
Sir, we have about 30 seconds left. I think about people sitting out there tonight. There are some who love you. Some of them are sitting right around here, and some who will never vote for you. But there are people in the middle. There are people who aren't sure. There are people who want to know why they should give you a second chance and how you might improve in a second term. 30 seconds.
Ông nói hãy cho người ta biết làm như thế nào để ông có thể tốt hơn.
We closed it up. We are coming around the corner. The vaccines are coming out soon.
Chúng ta đã làm được rất là nhiều về vấn đề đại dịch.
We are at a level with jobs like we've never been before. We've rebuilt our military. We've rebuilt our borders. We had no borders. We had no nothing. We've rebuilt so much. We've given the greatest tax cut in the history of our country. Greatest regulation cut, equally as important. And we created new levels of jobs that nobody thought was possible.
Và chúng ta đã tạo lên được nhiều công việc hết chưa bao giờ có. Và năm tới sẽ là tốt hơn nhiều so với năm nay. Và chương trình đã chấm dứt rồi.
We do want to thank the president again, as well as our audience in hot Miami and all of you watching at home. And a reminder, Donald Trump and Joe Biden are scheduled to meet in person a week from tonight in Nashville, a second and final presidential debate moderated by our own Kristen Welker.
Như vậy là coi như chương trình chấm dứt, và ông có 30 giây cuối để ông nói, thì ông tóm tắt một cách hết sức là nhanh chóng về cái vấn đề là những cái vấn đề như là chống đại dịch thì đã đóng cửa lại để mà có thể chống đại dịch một cách hữu hiệu, cứu được người, và giờ đây thì đã bắt đầu có những cái cách chữa trị, có những cách có những cái vaccine sắp sửa có. Rồi ông nói về vấn đề đã tạo được cái nền kinh tế rất là tốt đẹp, công việc, về vấn đề biên giới thì vững mạnh hơn, vân vân. Trong 30 giây ông đã nói đầy đủ, khá đầy đủ về những cái vấn đề cần làm. Và cô dẫn chương trình cho biết rằng là một tuần tới nữa là sẽ có sự gặp nhau giữa ông Trump và ông Biden, sẽ có một cái buổi tranh luận cuối với nhau một cách trực tiếp. Hy vọng là nó sẽ không bị thay đổi hoặc là không bị hủy đi vì bất kỳ lý do nào. Chúng ta tạm chấm dứt ở đây. Một cái buổi có thể nói là cũng khá là đầy đủ. Ông Trump mặc dù là bị cô dẫn chương trình vặn rất là nhiều, nhưng mà cũng đã có nhiều cái cách trả lời, thậm chí là có thể nói là áp đảo cái cô đặt câu hỏi. Cô đấy cũng là một người rất là cứng tay, cho nên là không có bị quá áp đảo. Và những người được lựa ra để mà hỏi thì cũng được ở các phía, vừa là những người ở phía Dân Chủ đã từng bầu cho bà Clinton, những người phía Cộng Hòa đã từng bầu cho ông, rồi có kể cả những người ở phía Dân Chủ trước đây bây giờ chuyển sang Cộng Hòa, hoặc là những người ở Dân Chủ trước đây chuyển sang độc lập để hỏi. Nhưng mà dường như là không có một cái người nào mà trước đây là Cộng Hòa mà bây giờ chuyển sang Dân Chủ để đặt câu hỏi. Xin chào mọi người, và chúng ta sẽ hẹn gặp lại trong những lần tiếp. Mọi người nhớ subscribe